Hello, my name's Marcus. This is the second tutorial in 3D Studio Max. If you didn't go through the first tutorial, I recommend that you do, because I won't be going over the things I talked about, just to speed things on. We're going to be making a low polygon character. At the moment I'm just going to be doing the head in this tutorial, and we're going to be looking at the NURM subdivision, which won't make any sense yet, but it will when we've done the head. Okay. And I'm not going to be using an image plane, which is probably a good idea to use an image plane, as an image as a guide to model to. But I just want to get people to know the tools and learn how to use them, and just messing about and modelling any old rubbish. It helps in the long run, and you're not going to be making that Half-Life 2, high detail model, not yet anyway. Not for your first project. You should just be getting to know everything. So in my Create tab, I'm going to make a box. I'm just going to drag this box out, let go, and raise that up. I'm going to change the colour because I can't see what I'm doing. At the moment you can see the wireframe's off, so I'll just hit F4 to switch the frame on. Stop that. Okay. One of the questions always asked is how many segments should I start with before we start modelling, which I went over in the first tutorial. Well, in the front view, I like 4 along the height and 4 along the width, and I like 2 along the side. Okay. So really, that's like the front there. And I might just, if I just hit R, I'll just stretch that out a little bit. I could have gone to the Modifier tab and changed one of these settings to make it longer, but I'm not going to bother. I'm also going to change this view to right. So if I right-click on the left and go to Views, you can actually change what your viewport is, and I'm going to change this to right. And I might, I'll press F3 and then F4 just to switch the wireframe on and make it smooth. Right. To begin, I think what I'm going to do is convert this. If we just click on our model and convert to editable poly, and our settings will change. If I hit 4 and go to polygon mode, or we can go down here and change our selection. I'm just going to marquee select all these and hit delete. Okay, yes. So now we've only got half the model. Okay. So we'll use a symmetry to make the rest. It just saves us having to saves us some work, really. And the reason why we marquee select is because we want to select all the faces behind these front ones. You see, if I just selected the front one, you'll notice that it doesn't select all the way through, as marquee select does. Okay. When you're character modelling, you should always work in one plane at a time, just to rough your model out. If I go to vertex mode or hit 1, I'm just going to slowly start pulling a face out, really. Okay. Really simple stuff here. And again, I'm marquee selecting because I want to select all the vertices in that row. Okay. And it's quite a nice shape. Just okay. This is going to be a very quick, basic model. To round this off, because you can see it's still quite box-like. If we just hit the edge vertex and we just pull them in a little bit, like so. Like that. You'll find that there's always a few problems with modelling, difficult areas, if you will, and they're always like the eyes and the nose and the ears. Everything else is pretty simple. Even the mouth is pretty simple compared to there we go. I'm also going to, if we hold down Control, we can multiple select things, and I'm just going to drag that out a little bit. So we've just rounded off our edge. I'm also going to select these edge vertexes over the hole and pull them in a little bit just to make it thinner. And let's start working in the front view. So let's just start pulling these in a little bit, like so. There we go. He's just going to be some kind of bizarre alien thing, I think. So probably the easiest. So let's apply a symmetry modifier. If we go into our modifier list with our model selected, we scroll down and we'll see symmetry. If we hit symmetry, you'll see that it actually creates our other half. If you need to change what axis it mirrors, you just simply change this, but we're going to be mirroring in the x-axis. To actually move this mirror, if we actually select symmetry in our modifier stack, we can now use the gizmo to move it over. And then when you're happy with that, if we just want to carry on working on our model, we just click on Edit Poly again. You'll notice that this vanishes. This little button down underneath the modifier stack is Show End Result On and Off, and if we switch that on, we can actually have the symmetry on while we work on the model. And you can see that as I pull this vertex, it mirrors what we're doing on the other side. Okay, but I'm just going to leave that off for the time being. I also want to make this a little bit thinner. Okay, so there's our rough head. Let's make a nose. Okay. So all I'm going to do is go across here, along there, like so. Let's go along there. Triangulate that. And that I was just using the cut tool, okay? We switched the cut tool on. You can notice, I think I did this in the first tutorial. If you go over to an edge, it changes to a line. If you go to a vertex, it changes to a dot. If I go anywhere inside a polygon face, it turns into a dot because it's creating a vertex. Okay. To end a cut, you just press Escape or one of them, like the Move tool or whatever, and it will end. It will end the cut. So all I'm going to do is select those vertexes. Okay. So hold down Control if you need to select them all individually. And I think I'll go into a side view, using the middle mouse button to activate the viewport. And didn't want that one selected. So let's just move that back into the head, like so. And there's a rough nose. And now we've got this rough nose, we can start throwing in a bit more detail, like so. And there's plenty of different techniques to modelling noses and ears, and everyone you'll discover your own technique and whatever, and that's what modelling's all about. I think I'd like to just undo that. Just gonna cut along the. Let's cut along there. This goes back to a vertex mode. Really, it's just I'm just making this up as we go along. Okay. looking pretty groovy. Okay, let's just switch on the symmetry, make sure that nose is spot on. It's looking okay at the moment. I started out 3D as an environment artist, really. I never really did character stuff at all. And during my university days, there was a guy, and he was doing a Master of Arts, which was the next one up from a degree. And he was a superb character modeler. And I actually sat in and watched him create a model, a character, just a basic character. And I mean, I knew everything there was to know about the 3D program, and you know, all the tools. I just didn't know how to implement those same tools to make a character, which was, you know, but it's true. You know, it's just, you know, how do you make, you know you've got to extrude somewhere, and you know you've got to pull a vertex somewhere else, but it's just like, well, where? You know, you need to figure that out. And by watching him, I came leaps and bounds, and I think that was my turning point, really, by watching him model. And I'm making some stupid antenna thing. I'm just going to use a bevel and drag that out. Another bevel, drag that out. And I think, oopsie daisy, I've accidentally moved in the side viewport. I think what I'm going to do is collapse these vertexes. So I'm just going to select that, that, and that. So we've got all four done. And if I just in the edit geometry hit collapse, and it'll just collapse them all to one point. And let's make a quick neck. Okay. So I'm going to go to edge mode, which was 2, or I can go down and select edge. I'm just going to select these edges. Let's go down to edit edges, and we'll hit remove, because if we hit delete, then we'll actually create a hole. Okay. If you hit G, you hide the grid. Sometimes it can get in the way. So let's just. What I think I might do quickly is just add a cut. But yeah, he was a superb character modeler, and I learnt a lot just by watching him. And let's just hit extrude, drag that out a little bit. You notice when we extrude, it creates some edges in our whole side. And if I and we don't need them. So what we're going to do is go into a poly mode and just delete them. So we need to keep this hole as a whole and not have any bits we don't want. Let's just quickly make an eye. I'll just make an eye. It's going to be a very basic eye as well. Nothing too amazing. So I'm just going to go. I'm still in poly mode. I'm going to select that poly, use insert, which is one of my favourite tools. Maybe not that much. There we go. Let's go and find cut. Cut is the one tool you'll use a lot. Okay, I'm just going to cut along there. Okay, I'm going to cut along there, and it's probably best if I end that cut at a vertex. There we go. So now we've got our vertexes here. Let's start shaping this so it looks more like an eye. Oops. Make sure you don't select any vertexes in the back. It's looking rather bizarre. Then all I'm going to do is let's bevel, and then we'll bevel. Right. Again, I think I'm going to collapse all these points to one vertex. So I'll just go in edit geometry, hit collapse, and at the moment you can see that I mean it's not an amazing character for a computer game, and you know the eye's pretty bad, but
Even though it's a low polygon character, I'm going to turn it into a high res character. And if we scroll down, you'll see this subdivision surfaces. Okay, it might not be expanded, you just hit the plus sign. And this is what I was talking about at the very beginning, which was the subdivision NURMs. If I switch that on, you'll see that it kind of smooths the mesh out a little bit. Now you'll notice at the bottom it says display and there's iterations. If I put this to 2, okay, you'll notice it smooths it out even more, and it's calculating it closest to a sphere, okay, and any more than that and your computer will severely die. And let's just switch the symmetry on. To deactivate your model and all its elements, just hit edit poly and it will turn grey, and you can get rid of it. If I hit F4 and just hide the mesh, there's our rather sad looking alien. If we scroll along the top, you'll see this teapot on a window, which means it's render and its options, but we just want to do a quick render, which is just the teapot. And there he is. Okay. Let's just zoom in a little bit more. Oh, there's our unhappy alien. And there's the head done. Okay, so next tutorial we'll rough out the body. Okay, and there's always a lot more polys in the head than there is in the body, and even though there's not a lot of polys in this head, so we could actually add a lot more detail. But I'll see you there. Good day.